Hi everyone, my name is Diana. I'm visually impaired and I have really bad memory. So if I do forget something or I repeat something, it's because I forgot that I said it. So just have a little patience with me. Okay, so for today's video, I wanted to talk about something that is just super important to me, just something that I'm very passionate about. And that is the blind and visually impaired community here in my hometown of Bakersfield. So I've lived in Bakersfield the majority of my life. I was not born here, but I was raised here, and as a child of Hispanic parents, unfortunately there are certain resources that were, I don't know, I want to say they weren't unavailable, but my family was not aware of. So for example, elementary through middle school, I was in RSP classes because of my vision. So basically they just helped me out a little bit more. So they were the ones who helped me out with ordering large print textbooks, basically any accommodation that I needed. They were able to help me out. And honestly, my middle school RSP teacher, she was the best. Honestly, loved her. She was such an amazing person. And 8th grade, getting ready for graduation, and she mentions to my parents, well, why don't you send her to the vision class here in town for her high school? And we had no idea what she was even talking about. Turns out that here in our county, there is elementary, middle school, and a high school that have vision classes, so a vision program that are specifically for students who have vision loss. And a lot of students will stay in their district and their school because, you know, friends, and it's closer for them. But for certain students who needed a little bit of extra help or who wanted to be part of this classroom, they had that opportunity. So this teacher actually helped my parents basically do all the paperwork, do the whole process of getting me into that classroom. And when I say that, that was the very first time I met other students, other people around my age group that had vision loss, I was so excited. I've met amazing friends. I've long lifelong friends that I met during that, and I actually met my husband there. My husband also has vision loss, and he and I are a few years apart, so that's actually how we ended up meeting each other. But the point is not just the classroom, because yes, classrooms are very, very important. Now, if I'm not mistaken, our county here in Kern, in California, we're one of the only counties that still has classrooms. Most counties, most cities have something that is known as an itinerant. Basically, it's a traveling teacher, which is actually what my husband does. My husband goes around to different schools within our city and goes sees those students who have that specific need. For him is actually vision. It's been a passion of ours, is to be able to continue working with this community. And so, you know, one of the things for me that is just so important is just to let parents know, let students know that there is people out there, there's other students out there who understand what you're going through. Because there is a stereotype about people who are blind or visually impaired are usually depressed, they're lonely, and honestly, I fit into that stereotype. I wasn't a loner, but I was very shy. I am honestly what is known as an introvert. I don't necessarily like to be in a big group of people unless I'm very, very close with them, and even then it takes me a while. And to be able to be placed in this classroom with other people, with other students who knew what I was going through, who felt the same way I felt, honestly, it was another family for me. It really was. We understood each other more than anyone else did. We had our blind jokes. And it's funny because we would always say, blind jokes, because you're blind, you're allowed to say them. And yes, other people can too, if you are comfortable with, or the visually impaired person is comfortable with you, and you ask permission to do so. Because there was one instance that there was a student who was an aide who did want to chime in, and we understood. He wanted to be part of it, but he said something, and honestly, like, it was funny because we all like stopped, turned, and stared at him for like 5 seconds straight, because we're like, wait, did you just say what I think you said? And he was just like, what? I'm like, yeah, no. I felt bad later on because I was just like, it wasn't his fault. It was kind of on us as well because we kind of encouraged him. But yeah, so the again, classroom is a very big part of the community. But in my second part, I do want to talk about something that I'm currently doing now to also help out in the community. And most cities or counties will have these specific groups. And if you are not currently part of one, and you are visually impaired, or you have a family member, you know a friend, or you just want to learn about the visual impairment community, the blind and visually impaired community, please try to locate your group, your local group, to be part of it. These groups are open to the community. They're not just for the visually impaired or blind community. They are open for everyone. And honestly, we want to have you be part of this, but that's going to be for a part 2 of this, or the next part of this video. But what I just want to really focus on is, if you do have a child or you are visually impaired, there are options for you when it comes to your schooling. So I'll talk to you soon in a few.